This is LUCKIEST Park, my home track and also my favourite track, and we're here for the final round of Access Karting. This weekend I really want some results, as my last two race weekends didn't go too well. As usual, we arrived on the Thursday and set up everything ready for Friday practice. As we live so close to this track, we were able to go home instead of sleeping in the van, which was quite nice as it was really cold this weekend. On Friday, I was struggling with a lot of grip. This track is very strange, where if it's hot, you get loads of grip, and if it's cold, you get very little grip. And plus that, my tyres had a weird layer of rubber on them, which wasn't giving me any grip at all. But one thing that did happen is I was getting really confident at going for overtakes, which is quite good considering I would not have done that overtake you just saw a couple months ago. Saturday was a lot better for me. I had a lot of grip as the layer of rubber came off my tyres quite early. It was really wet in the morning, so I was able to get a really nice wet setup for my kart. But then in the session you're looking at right now, something kinda happened. So the person in front of me spins and I go for a gap, but he rolls back and squishes me into the wall, which is unfortunate, and it bent my track rod and my steering column. Massive thanks to Twin Karting RM for giving me a steering column as mine bent. Here we go into Heat 1, first heat of the weekend, starting P15. Then coming down the straight, I'm really far behind and I don't get a very good start, and coming into turn 1, I get a tiny tap from behind, and then there's a massive incident and I just get really unlucky and lose loads of positions from it. So what happened is I got loaded into turn 1, which made me tap the person in front, and then there's a massive incident, and because I got loaded, I'm in the middle of the track, which is exactly where the incident is, and because there's people on my inside, I can't dive to the inside to avoid it, which is unfortunate. Then I focus on getting a good exit and a run into the hairpin, and I do go for a move. He sticks it round the outside though, and as it's really hard to go too wide here, I just have to let him through. Then coming into turn 1, I go for a later apex and a better exit into the double right, which is where I do the overtake. Then a few laps later, I catch up to the pack ahead and I help 11 through past number 27, but I'm not close enough to go for a move past 27 as well. Then on the next lap, I noticed number 27's weak point was in this fast left, so I go down his inside at the fast left, but unfortunately a Tony Kart puts his nose down my inside and I kind of back off a bit, but then number 27 goes deep and then I get a great run on him into the hairpin and pretty much just overtake him before we're there. Then on the straight, Lucas in the 31 Tony Kart comes past me into turn 1. But then unfortunately Morgan in the number 35 comes past me coming into the fast left. After another really quick driver coming past me, I eventually catch back up to Lucas in the 31, and he looks for a move on number 11, and I go to follow him, but as soon as I notice he's not going to be able to do it, I go back to the racing line. Then unfortunately number 9 does a great send and gets past me. And then here we are on the last lap. Number 9 looks for a move on number 31, and I see that, and I focus on getting a really late apex and a great run into the flat left. And then I'm pretty sure he goes for a move down here again. And oh no, he doesn't, but I get caught up by some back markers. And then he does go for a move coming into the hairpin, but I switch back on him and get a great run into the second hairpin. And this is the last lap. Come into the last corner, I get the best exit I can so he doesn't come back past me, and that was the end of the race. So I ended up P18, so I lost 3 positions, and that was probably mainly in the turn 1 incident, so alright heat. Here we are, heat 2, the first heat on Sunday, as the last one was on Saturday afternoon, and as usual I get a terrible start. Then coming into turn 1 I leave the door wide open, and then 2 people come past. Then here somehow there is a massive incident, and that puts me right on number 22's tail. And then at the start I work with him, but then I notice I'm a load faster than him, and then I focus on trying to get past him. Then I do that move coming into turn 1, I use his slipstream, which is super effective, and I just dive for the inside, and then he just gives me space and easy move. And then a couple laps later I catch up to the pack ahead, and I help number 25 through, but number 46 has contact with him, and then I go for a move on 46, and then we have contact. And then here I back off a bit more, trying to get the best run, and I'm pretty sure I push 46 down the straight, but I'm not sure. I don't get close enough to do that, so I go for my standard racing line with the best exit, and then I push number 46 past, and I help him get past. But then 71 holds it round the outside, and we all just kind of slowed down a bit too much. Then number 35 comes past, and I get a bad exit because of it, and number 9 looks for a move, and then coming into the flat left I have to lift off because it's extremely hard to go too wide. Then the karts ahead of me start battling, but then I go for a gap, but I have to slow down more because there isn't a gap. And then 91 comes past, and a Tony kart starts pressuring me, and then coming down the straight I have to defend because he's so close to me. Then 91 in front of me gets caught up with 34, and then I get a great run past 91 and really close to 34. I look for a move, but I'm too far back, and then I look for another move, but I'm not confident going for moves there, so I focus on getting a good exit, and then I go for a move into the hairpin, which is one of my favourite overtaking spots. A few laps later I'm right on number 9's bumper. He goes for a move on number 40 and 46. I look for a move on number 40. He hangs it round the outside, so I have to go behind him for the next corner. And I look for another move coming into the last corner, so I focus on getting a good exit and a run into turn 1. And then I just overtake him into turn 1. Then I get a really bad exit coming out of this last corner, and number 90 comes past me down the straight into turn 1. Then number 29 goes for a move coming into the hairpin, and I try to get a good run, but then I accidentally tap him on his rear bumper coming out of it, which slows my momentum down a bit. Coming over the hill, 91 goes for a move on 29, and then I switch back on 29 to get past him, and then I'm close enough to go for a move on 91, but I don't do it, so we have a tiny bit of contact. Then coming into the last corner, he focused on getting a good exit, and I do the same, and I try to use the slipstream, but my gearing is a bit more acceleration, and now we're on the last lap. 91 uses too much curb and slides off and has contact with 46, and I get fully alongside both of them, going 3 wide into the double apex, and I get past both of them in one corner. And now I'm right on number 27's bumper, and I really need to get past him on this last lap. Then coming through the last couple corners, something really unfortunate happens. I come out of the hairpin, I get a good run, and I want to overtake number 27, but 20 is a back marker and he ends up getting in my way. So I end up losing a position to Harvey from HM Motorsports in the number 63. I started 29th for that heat, and I don't know where I ended up because I forgot to put my transponder on, but we know it wasn't in the points, so it doesn't matter. If you don't already know, I'm starting pole for heat 3, which is a first. I've never started higher than 9th, so this is going to be interesting. So I'm starting pole, and Leo Engels is starting next to me, who is a very quick driver, so I expect he's probably going to get past me quite quick, and then most of the really fast drivers are quite far back, but there are still quick people right behind me. Here we are coming around the last few corners on the formation lap. I'm super nervous as this is my one chance I can get top 10, and I haven't got top 10 this season, so I really want it. Here we go. Lights out and away we go. Coming into turn 1, I get a really good start, and then Leo Engels gives me a little tap on my rear bumper and it makes me go wide, and 3 people come past me.
We've got a very crowded field going into 2 wide, going into Shoemakers. They're going to sort themselves out. That's the number 19, Ivo Ivanov, who absolutely muscles his way through to the lead there. We're slipping and sliding on these cold tyres. We are side by side, the 25 of Luca Dol.
Then I go for a move on Langford, and it's a bad idea because we have a bit of contact, and number 23, Leo Engels, gets past me. That's unfortunate, but now I just need to hold my position till the end.
I think that's the 23. So who's that?
The 23 is Leo Engels.
Where's he come from?
He started in the front row. So
he
went
dropped back
and
and
he's
forward.
come
All right,
forward,
so
yes.
he's moving forward from what is obviously a very poor start.
And is that the 99 of Jack Langford? It is.
Dolby, Ivanov,
So
Engels, Langford.
Jack Langford is the champion, by the way.
And you spoke.
Coming into the double right, number 19 gets a really bad entry, and I get fully alongside, but then I have to back out as we nearly have some contact. Then number 19 has a bit of oversteer, and he knows he had a bad exit, so he goes to defend, and I just push him instead. About 3 laps later, the OM plate goes for a move into the double right. Coming out of the second apex, he goes for a move as I make a mistake and go a bit wide, but then I defend coming into this corner, which makes me get quite a bad exit, and then he gets a great run coming into the flat left. Then on the same lap, 35 comes past coming into the hairpin.
Actually, it looks like Engels is like, oh, no
problem
dear.
for Langford.
Langford's got an issue.
Has he
Head
got
down.
a chain that's come off? He looked over his right shoulder.
Coming down the straight, I'm working together with 35, and Jack Langford chain came off, so we get 1 free position. Coming into the hairpin, 35 goes for a move on number 19, and I try to follow him through, and we go 2 wide through the last corner.
This is getting a bit...
Yeah, it's the OM plate of Langley moving up to 4th place. He was, well, I think it's 4th place. I can't quite tell because of the way the...
Then, unfortunately, Jack Griggs in the 33 comes past me, going over the hill and down into the hairpin. Then he goes for a move on number 19. Number 19 breaks way earlier than I expect, and we have a bit of contact. I get a great run on Jack Griggs coming into the flat left, and then Riley Potts in the 69 kart pushes him past and gets past me as well. Coming into the hairpin, the two karts in front of me both go for a move on number 19. I try to follow them through, but I'm not close enough, and then I focus on getting a good exit, which I do. And then coming down the straight, I get alongside, but I lift off because I already thought it was the end of the race, as they showed the last lap board the lap before this, which is really annoying as I lifted off, but I immediately saw it and got back on the power as quickly as possible, so I didn't lose too much, but I was nearly able to get past, so that's annoying. Coming through the flat left, someone puts their nose of their kart just alongside my rear bumper, and their nose gets caught between my rear bumper and my wheels, which slows me down, so I'm not close enough to number 19 to make a move. And that was heat 3 of Axis Karting round 6. I was really happy with that. That was easily my best heat ever in Axis Karting, which is awesome. You could say I lost 7 positions, and I did, but this was still really good for me. Just go look at some of my other videos, and I never have just a good weekend, and hopefully I can get some results in the final to make this weekend even better. Here we go into the final. I'm starting P15, quite a good starting position, higher than all my other race weekends in the final, so hopefully I can get some results. As you can see, it is pouring it down. Somehow in between the heat 3 and the final, it's just started raining. As usual, I get a really bad start coming down the straight. Into turn 1, I go for a really deep line, hoping there's more grip, but it doesn't work. This track, you don't really use wet lines on this track, which makes it very hard to drive. And now number 9 goes for a move coming into this tight hairpin. I focus on getting a good exit, and I push 31 down this little straight bit. And here I really don't want to go too wide, as there's very little grip. I do overtake 31 here, and now I'm going to follow number 9 through. Here I focus on getting a good exit, but then I get way too much oversteer and I lose quite a bit of time. Coming through the double apex, number 7 goes for a move, and then I defend coming into this really tight corner, and he goes for a move but then spins off and I get the position back. Then coming through the last corner, there's an incident and number 19 gets past both of them, and I don't get past, but coming down the straight, number 19 gets a really big slide, and the two karts that spun get past him, and now I'm really close to all the karts ahead. I'm looking for moves. I go for a move on number 19 and 36, but I can't get past 36, but I do get past number 19. Big lock up by me, and I go really deep coming into the double apex, and that is 1 position gained. Coming through the double apex, I'm really close to number 9, so I'm thinking about where I can overtake him, and I go really wide, and coming back on the track I spin, which is really annoying and it's kind of frustrating, but it's alright because I only lost 2 positions from it. A bit later I catch right back up to the 2 karts that overtook me when I spun, and I go for a move on number 29, coming over the crest and into a hairpin, and my foot slips on the throttle and I go really deep, which is unfortunate, but luckily he didn't go for a undercut. Here we are on the last lap, really close to number 19 now. He goes defensive, I go for a late apex and a good exit, and then I get a great run coming into the flat left. Coming out of the flat left, he gets fully alongside and he nearly goes for a move, but he backs off as it's nearly impossible to go too wide there. As we come out of the last corner, that is the checkered flag for the final of round 6 of Access Karting. I finished P15, so I didn't lose any positions from when I started, so that's good. What a way to end the season with my first top 10 and a 15th in the final, which is good. And we are going to the O Plate on the 15th and 16th of November at Clay Pigeon Raceway again, so it's probably going to rain a lot. My dad also had a really good weekend in his Pro Kart. He got top novice and had some quite good heats, so shout out to him. I know this video is quite a bit longer than usual, so if you enjoyed it, please consider liking and subscribing, and I'll see you next time. Bye.